Chanting for that.
I didn't, it's not that I don't like the bill, but you know when it's gonna go. That's all I'm saying. I just protect what you're saying and what you're doing. Protect us. Because I don't like, you know where this is gonna go. From smaller towns, all these other people are gonna tell us where to go and nitpick.
It's already prohibited in some towns.
Okay.
That's why the bill got
I
introduced.
know.
Yeah.
But they,
Because Ron Rodriguez didn't like it. They shut it down, no more cruising.
Take a celebration.
I did Tolleson, and so did he.
Yeah, we all
shut
get
it down.
permits. There's no such thing as getting
Tolleson don't even give a permit, and they're trying to make us get a permit that they don't have.
that they don't have it. No, I know that.
Let's take a celebration photo first, and then we can go into discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all guys in the back.
Well, if you were supporting it.
We should take it outside in the front of the Capitol. That would
Hey, Johnny,
Go take it with the cars.
Johnny, let's go take it out front.
Well, they're going inside, right? Take them both places.
In place without a destination or particular purpose within a specified time period. House Bill 2332 also prohibits a local authority from limiting motor vehicle suspension modifications or bumper heights. And with that, I'm available for any questions.
Members, any questions for Jeremy?
Mr. Chairman, a question for Jeremy. Mr. Chairman, Jeremy, who determines the road cruising? Who determines if somebody is cruising or just lost?
Mr. Chair, Representative Martinez, I believe that would be up to the determination of the police. I know there are current ordinances in place, like Phoenix, where you can have no cruising areas, and they do have a definition of it. It's driving past the traffic control point 3 times within a 2-hour period around no cruising area. So it would be up to the enforcement.
Mr. Chairman, follow up. Does it make any sort of exemption for Christmas lights when there's a particular neighborhood and there's beautiful Christmas lights?
Mr. Chair, Representative Martinez, I don't believe so, but again, the Phoenix ordinance has specific areas that are designated as no cruising areas, so I would imagine that areas that are like that probably wouldn't get that designation.
Madam Vice Chair, is anybody side yet opposing the bill?
Opposing the bill. Yes, we have one person opposing and, lots for
Okay,
some.
she's using my computer right with myself. Thank you so much. Okay, no sponsor, batter up.
Chairman, members, this is my first ever bill getting heard, so excited to be here. Thank you for putting my bill on the agenda. Being from the minority party, I know this is a great honor. And it sounds like Ms. Martinez is on board with the bill based on the questions she asked. So hopefully that's the case. But like they mentioned, my bill is basically a repeal to anti-cruising ordinances. There currently are a couple of cities in the state of Arizona who have this in place. Phoenix being one of them, Towson being another one, Glendale being another one. Mesa used to have it, and then a couple years after they decided they really couldn't define what cruising meant, so they repealed it. City of Phoenix does have signs in Phoenix that say you can't cruise here. So there are, city police that put this in place and ban it from people being able to do it. So the history of cruising actually came out of New Mexico, and it originated in the birthplace of lowriding and the culture of cruising. Lowriding dates back to 1940s and grew along the Chicano civil rights movement in the 1960s and 70s. Many of these lowriders are considered rolling works of art, appearing in exhibitions at the Lavore Museum and Smithsonian's National Museum of American Culture. Cruising is very big in Arizona. One of the coolest things, and a big reason why I introduced this year was because last year I was working with the Phoenix Suns on the release of the new jersey. If you've had an opportunity to see them, they're the Envaya jerseys, and on the side of the jerseys it has pinstripes So if you don't have one, definitely go out and get one. I've been working with them on trying to work on a cruise to the Capitol and hopefully get Devin Booker to drive down, leading it with his new $150,000 lowrider. But that's why I've brought this to here today. Another background information about cruising and lowriders is you have 3 tiers of lowriding, right? You have your first top tier of cruisers and people who have high-end, very nice cars. They go to every show. These are folks that some are in the crowd here. You know, they go to work. Some of them are government employees, work for the city, work for the state, work for the county. They get out and they just work on their car all day. And then on weekends, they'll go out, take the car out, and just have a good time. And I don't know if you guys know, we have the Barrett Jackson show going on right now. Some of those cars end up making it that way. These cars are high-end cars. They sell for a lot of money. And so this is kind of your tier 1. And you got your tier 2 kind of lowriders, where they're not too involved. They'll kind of, they're still pretty fixed up, and they take them out, they go to some events. And tier 1 and tier 2 kind of lowrider crews, they're very respected. They want, you know, good reputations. They don't want people putting them on, you know, doing bad things they shouldn't be doing, because it ends up causing the whole, you know, going down a wrong path for them. It leads to banning cruising. And so they really stick together. They look out for each other. They make sure that people aren't putting a bad name to cruising. And then you have your other folks who, you know, they kind of have their lowrider, and they'll go out to a couple events, or they'll kind of just cruise on their own. And so Arizona has had a history of cruising in the 80s and 90s, and it led to some stuff going on that didn't shine a good light on it, and you know, some of that has happened historically. But now we're in a very different age. A lot of the people that grew up in this culture, they've taught their kids to respect their car, respect what they're doing, and they want to keep this culture going on. And so that's a little bit about my bill. Hope you can support it. Does anyone have any questions?
Members, any questions for the bill sponsor?
Mr. Chair. Okay, I'm confused about the bill.
Yeah.
So this would be a pro cruising, you can cruise whenever you want, down any road you want, how you want.
It just wouldn't allow cities
So
to
it's
put
an
an ordinance.
anti-city bill?
Yeah, to put an ordinance on cruising. Yeah.
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, as a point of clarification, just for the bill sponsor, so this bill, a yes vote,
Yeah.
would mean that the cities could not prohibit cruising?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chairman, Representative Martinez, I talked to the league. They have some concerns, not enough to come down and sign an opposition, but I am speaking with them to kind of get some stuff reformed on the bill, and open to having those conversations with stakeholders and the league.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Representative Aguilar.
Yeah.
So you mentioned tier 1, tier 2 lowriders and other lowriders, but the bill isn't specific to lowriders. So this is anybody anybody in a truck. I could get my friends and we could all get cars and we could just drive around and just cruise up and down Central or cruise up and down wherever we want. So it's not specific to just the lowrider in that community. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I actually have a group of bikers who will come and testify too.
That's fine.
Mr. Chair.
Please, go ahead, Representative Carter.
Representative Aguilar, Mr. Chair. As I read the bill, I see it addresses cruising, but there's also a couple other provisions that you haven't spoken about. Something about bumper heights and suspension.
So, yes, that is something under line 24 that includes suspension modifications and buffer heights. But like I said, I was talking to the league in some cities, that was one of their concerns as well. So I think we're willing to see where we can land on that.
Let me say something there. I think that the bumper height, what he means by in his bill means one thing, and then it's gonna get worked out. So in a truck that's jacked up, or something that's jacked up, opposite of what he's talking about, you have to either have mud flaps with the bumpers or something like that. You're gonna have to stay within those guidelines, and you'll make sure that happens.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair. The specific concern from my point of view is that the people raise the truck and then the headlights are above the specifications they're supposed to be in, and it blind spots the drivers. And it's an increasing problem, a big problem in my district. So I'm comfortable with the bill. If it prohibits cities from enforcing headlight blinding, then that's not something that I can support.
I understand, Representative, and then I'm not speaking for you, but what I'm saying is there's already laws against that. You know, those new light bars and all that stuff you put on trucks, and that's a completely different thing. The thing is to allow them to cruise, and when they do that, and where's Austin? Can we get our videos I asked for? Start some videos. Do we have it? We have parts outside?
People want to cruise right now.
Right, that's right. I could ask Austin to get some videos, but, yeah. Anything else, Mr. Chairman? Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to give you a light roasting here, since this is your first initiation into running the bill land.
Yeah.
And I can't help but feel like I'm in the middle of a press conference with all these phones of taking photos and videos of this, which is really cool, actually, to see so many people down here in support of something. I guess my question is, as I meander around, is how has the current situation impacted the ability to do this? Is it really enforced? Because, like, if I drive down Happy Valley Road 2 times an hour, he's really watching that, right? Like, so how is it even enforced?
So some cities do enforce it, and some have realized that they can enforce it. So the city of Tolleson actually banned it a couple years ago. And one of the concerns from the businesses there that they said was that they started to lose a lot of money after they got rid of cruising down there because of how many people would come out. And those are conversations that I am willing to have with the city of Tolleson. And I mean, that one's kind of the biggest one. Nowadays, you used to be able to cruise on Central. Central is completely different. You have a light rail right in the middle now.
That's your guys' fault.
Yeah.
So, I bring back trees and get rid of light rails.
So but yes, there are some people have had to face that.
Thank you. So, personal opinion, I guess, do you feel like there's been a negative connotation in the past with it? Because, I mean, I spent the longest year of my life, my freshman year of high school in Trinidad, Colorado, and I remember on a Friday night, it's like the main drag. So that's not, I don't think that's ethnocentric at all.
Yeah.
It happened in little white neighborhoods in Oklahoma and stuff like that as well. I'm just saying, man, this is what you do in a small town, you have nothing to do, you drive your car around, it's cool, right? So has that been part of the problem over the, trying to get back to being serious here, has that been a problem, a negative stigma to it because it ties to a certain element of it?
Yeah, definitely. And we have Johnny Lozoya, who has been part of the Red Magazine for a very long time, and will be up and testify. And he can kind of talk more about the history, if he's okay with that, and kind of his experience with that. This guy has documented cruising for a very long time, and he can tell you a lot of that from his experience.
What is Marcus there?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I was looking for something. Representative Regular, I think, as I recall, one of the problems with they said with cruising was the noise, and the traffic and trash example. Second question, when you start a cruising, there's a place in Costa Rica called the Lago. Can you cruise that area?
That's where I live.
Oh!
Careful where you tread.
Anyway,
The noise and
that was
traffic.
Representative Martinez cruising.
Hours, whatever.
Yeah, so my bill does not touch with noise, nausea, is that how you say it? Those ordinances. So that's still a problem. If you're littering, that's still against the law. If you're, doing anything else, all that stuff is still against the law. And there are, like I said, the lowrider community, they don't want to be put into this box of, they're littering the streets. There are some of these guys and girls, what they'll do is they'll clean up the street the day after, because they want to make sure that they're not representative in that type of way. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, we're gonna go ahead and have Joan Murphy come in and speak. She is signed in against the bill. Joan?
Murphy here?
Okay.
Okay, let me hear from two for the bill.
Okay, great. We're gonna have Mr. Mark Cardenas, just because I love his his bow tie, come in and speak for the bill. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I want to hear someone from the general public.
Yes,
Who's
sit
from
down,
the
Mark.
general
Sit
public?
down, Mark. He has a low rider.
I have a low rider. Of course you do.
Do you use that bow tie when you,
Or is it a plaid shirt, sir?
This is my capital costume. So I have I'm a proud owner of a 1954 Chevy Bel Air that's lowered, and I have a really great sound system that my Theo, who is the vice president of Old School Car Club in Glendale, helped me do. And so I was actually just talking about it with some friends. Back in the day, you used to be able to cruise on Grand Avenue. And my partner and I, we used to take our dogs out there, and just the beautiful cars that were out there. But one thing that really struck me, and I still talk about it to this day, is the families that were out there. Families who have passed down from generation to generation. Little kids that are 4 and 5 years old with little chairs, just having such a great time in the city of Phoenix decided that they no longer wanted to have that type of activity on Grand Avenue. And so it seems as if people who are own lowriders such as myself are constantly being chased around the city.
Questions for Mr. Cardenas? Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Chair, I don't know if this is a TH or a JH. Joni or Johnny Gonzo from Latino Paparazzi Lowrider Legacy YouTube. Woo!
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak here. It's an honor to be here. On behalf of my colleagues, it's a really good opportunity to share what we're all about. I'm a pioneering staff member of Lowrider magazine since October 1978. I've transcended well into the mainstream, along with the motorsport. Lowriding has transcended all across borders, all across counties, states, you name it. We are part of a global event now. We are part of a group that has been all over the world now. Lowriding is all over the world. But more importantly, what's here today is I'm honored to be here to speak to you and share with you that we are America. We are part of the America that has been cultivating our motorsport. And it's a great honor to be here on behalf of the car community. Car clubbing builds leadership. Matter of fact, if just 2 points, Antonio Villaraigosa, the 2-time mayor of Los Angeles, was in a car club called Click in 1974. He's grown. It shows how leadership is born, how leadership is developed within the car club community. As a pioneering staff member of the magazine, I've seen our community grow. I've seen it leaps and bounds. We've grown as a community. We've grown as a community. We're a global event now, and the Suns have built a car in honor of Crusing. Just last weekend, I had an event with the Arizona Diamondbacks World Series participants, and we have been able to grow with the community and be part of the mainstream. Matter of fact, we are the mainstream now. We are the mainstream, and we've been able to transcend globally. So I want to thank everybody for listening and giving me the opportunity to be part of this event. And this is a historic event for our community. And we look forward to working with you and sharing any, if you have any questions, let me know.
Members, you have any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Leganzo. So I don't think anybody's arguing about the lowriders being great cars. You know, I go to lowrider shows, I go check them out, and I think they're really cool, you know, seeing them bounce on the parks and all, and kids love them, and it's a lot of fun. I think what I have concerns with is traffic being impeded, access to commerce, you know, getting in business and all.
Right.
And then, of course, Mr. Aguilar mentioned, you know, smoke, trash, and things along those lines. And do you work with the different police departments to have parades and set aside places so that you can do cruising now? Do you do that, or is it?
A lot of the leadership here in the community works with police departments all across, not only here in Arizona, but throughout the Southwest. Recently, California just passed the law that you can cruise now, and because it was had an economic impact. It had a huge economic impact. Right now here in Arizona, we're in the millions. Nationally, it's in the billions. You know, you can't deny that we have an impact in the community. And globally, it's unknown, but this group called Special Equipment Manufacturers Association keeps records of all the documentation of the financial impact that it has.
Oh, Mr. Chair, Mr. Leganzo, no doubt, there's, you know, financial, or there's an economic impact and all, but I guess my concern would be just with all those other, you know, negative effects in the neighborhoods, you know, can you, right now, get a permit from the police department or from the city, different cities? Are there different cities that will give you permits to just go ahead and do that for a little while? You know, you're gonna go around and cruise this particular neighborhoods and all, or this downtown areas.
Yeah, the main thing is developing the dialogue with the community, developing the dialogue with PD, and we have never had any issues regarding that. It's been more importantly, they welcome us. They welcome the dialogue because it number one, it's a great act of community relations. We were able to share what we're all about as far as the vehicle are concerned, and bottom line is we are part of America.
Sure, so you're saying that you actually already do this, you cruise and you get permits and you work with the police departments and all to go cruising?
Right.
So you already do that?
Yes.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your time and opportunity to share.
Sir, is this gonna be your last bill? What time is it? 8:38. Raise your hand if you want to testify. All right, we're gonna take one more.
Do you have any no's?
No, I've already asked.
There was a no.
Is there somebody that is opposing this bill?
I am opposing it.
I
would like to
some
speak.
opinions.
I would like to speak.
Is it are you?
I am opposing it.
Okay, so did you sign in?
Yes,
the
sir.
request?
Yes, sir.
What is
I
your
believe I wrote the wrong LHB bill on the number, but my name is on there.
What's your name?
Marisol Oliva Valenzuela.
Yes.
Can you make that change and then just, yeah, come on up.
Thank you, sir.
Can we have another speaker after, one at that car club?
Thank you. So I think.
Thank you, brother.
Hello, thank you. My name is Marisol Oliva Valenzuela. I not only represent myself, I am in District 24. I also represent a nonprofit, Sunny's Project, and I also represent, I am president of the Arizona Cruise Council. I do represent not only car clubs, solo riders, and car enthusiasts from the 70s all the way to now. So the reason I am opposed to this bill is because in the state of Arizona, we are in Arizona, we are not in California, we are not anywhere else. We do not have anything, and we don't have a reason for us to believe that cruising is illegal. There has not been any issues with any type of cruising or any car enthusiast that likes to show off their cars in any way, fashion, or form. The reason that we have been not only but profiled, but this goes against our amendment rights, civil rights to just transport. So there hasn't been any issues in Arizona, just like Johnny Lozoya and other people, Representative Aguilar, and there hasn't been any issues. So for us to bring up the right to cruise is irrelevant. We already have that right. There's no reason for us to bring this up or for us to have a government oversight over this. We know what it is, we know what we're doing. We have already the connections and building connections with government entities and government and police. So at this point, there has not been any issues. So why are we depicting or pointing out, now you're going to try to get government entities or police to define what is cruising, just like one of the committee members said. So at this point, I am opposed to this because there's so many different people that are going, once the bill is passed, you guys know how it works. I am hopefully enough educated to know once the bill passes, now every entity from a city entity to a government entity to enforcement, now you're gonna be obligated to enforce cruising however they see fit. When there's never been an issue, why make it an issue now? So that's my point. If you have any other questions, I would gladly, talk about it. I did speak to a lot of people here that did put on the paper that they are with the bill, but now they understand what really it means to pass this bill, so they are opposed to some of them. Not only that, but I have received many messages that we are going to be opposing for this to move forward. So thank you so much, and I appreciate your time.
Any questions from?
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, like we've heard from Representative Aguilar that some cities do prohibit that.
Correct.
Oh.
Correct, but it's just, they prohibit it from certain streets. They don't prohibit it altogether. And they just put like, for example, the city of Phoenix, they only have that prohibited in Grand from like point A to point B. It's only like certain miles. It's not prohibited throughout the entire city of Phoenix, just like Tolleson as well. So I'm trying to, why bring a bill? There's nothing here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I think it's important to listen to all voices. I think the intent of the bill is because some cities do prohibit bottom line. Yes. So I just want to make sure that I do clarify that.
Right.
So I'm asking your response. I'm talking. I'm just saying that's the intent of the bill. That's all.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Can we get one more? Or
Let's do you all have any discussion about House Bill 2332? Anybody want to?
Mr. Chair, I like the concept of freedom. I don't want anybody telling me what to do, where to go, where not to go. I certainly don't think it's right for a city to say, this street, from this street to this street is okay to cruise, but from this street to this street is not. Now we're starting to separate homes and houses and differentiate where you can go and how long you can go. And I just, from a freedom stance, I don't think any neighborhood should be given or treated differently than any other neighborhood. So I don't know if anyone wants to respond to that, or if even that makes sense to anyone other than me, Mr. Chair.
I agree with you. I do all my cruising on dirt roads. Like the song said, but I appreciate that. Anything else?
I guess, Mr. Chairman, briefly, before we vote, I really do appreciate the testimony, and I appreciate you coming and testifying, because I was struggling a little bit. I also echo freedom matters, like liberty matters, and once you introduce language or legislation into the books, into the codes, even if it's to protect you're automatically giving it over to those government municipalities, and then they start working around it, or at least they can. If I'm hearing correctly, this yet hasn't popped up as an issue in the municipalities. And so I like, when it comes to this, the heart of this, and I'm gonna speak for myself here, I know that the sentiments are shared. I wanna make sure that people are able to cruise, you know, and sincerely, from someone who's been looking at legislation now and how it impacts the public, once you write legislation or language, you are automatically introducing into the sphere where it can be now defined, as you were saying, Madam Webb. And so that's what gives me hesitance about this. So as we move forward here, my vote, in all sincerity, from what I know and how I view introducing language and legislation, I want to make sure I'm voting to protect cruising. And that's where the vote will come from as we move forward, and I want the public to know that.
Thank you. Madam Vice Chair, let's move the bill.
Mr. Chair, I move that House Bill 2332 be returned with a due pass recommendation.
Member, the motion before you is the House Bill 2332 be returned with a due pass recommendation. Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Carter.
Pass.
Representative Contreras.
Pass.
Representative Gillette.
Aye.
Representative Hernandez.
I agree with Co-Chair Martinez. I think people should be allowed to do what it is that they want to do on their free time. If they want to cruise, I shouldn't be the one to tell them they can't. And with that, I vote aye.
Representative Montenegro.
Mr. Chairman, as a point of further clarification, I'm going to be voting no. And the reason is I do understand what you're saying. I believe her name is Marisol.
Yes, sir.
When you introduce language, you're giving it over to government for them to start defining what certain things mean. And then that's when you start allowing the encroachment on liberties and rights. So with that, I vote no.
Representative Seaman.
Aye.
Representative Sosi.
Chair, I claim my vote.
Please.
Thank you, Chair, and I also want to thank Representative Aguilar for introducing this bill. My sister who lives in Albuquerque, her son, so my nephew, also owns the car club, Premier Image Car Club, Navajo owned, and they've taken part in the lowrider show in Glendale. And a couple of years back, my nephew would take his car to the car wash just to wash the car. Got pulled over, got fined for it, just to wash his car to get ready for a car show. And so in support of the lowrider and car clubs, I'll be voting yes today. Thank you.
Representative Coleman.
Mr. Chairman, please.
Every joke must go. This week is my goal. So cars are America, right? We've seen that over the passage of time in this country. In fact, if you draw a line at St. Louis, cities east of St. Louis are usually built around golf course paths and have a lot of public transit. And cities to the west are usually spread out more and built around the automobile. I'm a huge supporter of that. Have I ever cruised? No. Maybe Representative Aguilar can fix that at some point. I will leave that up to him if he wants to put up with me on his ride. But cars are America. That's very important to our culture. And I'm also about city preemption, I'll be honest. It's fun to tell the cities what they can and can't do because quite frankly, they overreach all the time in so many areas it's offensive. So mainly for that, but also for all those other reasons, I'm an aye, but I will add, I hope that you're not gonna be tying up the big streets where there's serious traffic going through. And I want to give those individuals the ability to do that and not be told where to go, so
Representative Carter.
Mr. Chairman, I still vote. I have no opinion on cruising, honestly. I would echo what everybody said here. It just shouldn't be up to us to decide. But my concern with the bill is the specific language that has the effect of allowing headlights to be a safety issue. So on the basis of that inclusion in the bill, I'm voting no.
Representative Contreras.
Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Lozano, sorry.
Zoya.
Okay, said that this really isn't an issue, that they can work with the various communities to go cruising. I think this is, the attention needs to be maybe on profiling, that, you know, Mr. Sosi mentioned his, relative, being, you know, get a ticket for driving down the street to get a car wash and all. I think it's more profiling that needs to be addressed, not necessarily the, fact that they're going to be having their cars driving up and down the street. So I've been around a while. This cruising down Central was a thing way back when. We had some issues. I told Mr. Aguilar about this before you were born. When you know, there was trash, there was smoking, there was all carrying on, there was cars driving slow, you know, impeding traffic and all. I've gone cruising, I'll admit that. We did that in my little hometown too, so down in Yuma, down 4th Avenue and all. I'm not really convinced that this is the right way to approach this. I think it's something else. It's not that we're not allowing cruising, because there's only, you mentioned 3 or 4 cities in this whole state of Arizona that don't allow it right now. So you can talk to your police departments and go and cruise wherever you want to. So I'm gonna vote no.
Vice Chair Martinez?
Mr. Chair, may I explain my vote?
Please.
I hate the concept that a city gets to decide which street will be treated one way and which street will be treated another. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to tell a street, you cannot go down this street to cruise. What if there's Christmas lights? And then who defines the word cruising? I don't feel that it's right. I'm Hispanic, and a lot of my cousins and my primos are lowriders, so what's up? What's out there?
It's a culture.
It's a culture. No, you cannot do that, thank you. And so, Mr. Chair, what I'd like to say is, this actually, Mr. Aguilar, Representative Aguilar, reminds me of a Jay Kaufman bill, preempted cities, so there you go. And with that, yes, it does. And so with that, Mr. Chair, I vote aye. Y órale.
Chale.
Explaining my vote is my phone went off because I was looking for that song, Lowrider.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
So after listening to all of you members, I was thinking about voting president, but anyway. I heard the exact opposite comments about this bill, and what I heard was, you can't pass this bill because then you're gonna give government an open door to come in and make rules. Well, government's already made the rules. They've already made rules in 2 other cities, and that means any other town can make some cities and whatever they wanna do. Then there's a talk about, well, they can go talk to the city and they can work out the other streets. Well, you know what? Why didn't the city and the elected and paid officials go talk to the community and find a way to solve the problem without making it against a law or ordinance in that city? So I don't want to see cities just rampantly doing that, because if I drive and I want to go cruising in Tolleson, or I want to go to wherever this is in Phoenix, you can't cruise. And if I want to go cruise, I don't want to get a ticket because I don't know that it's not legal there. We shouldn't have to worry about what laws are legal from one city and town to the other when we're driving cruising. So with that being said, I like the bill. That's why we put it on the agenda for you, Representative Aguilar. I have a right.
Thank you.
I'm not gabbling out.
I'm watching.
Calm down. So, I saw this, members, by your vote of 7 ayes, 3 nays, you've given House Bill 2332 a due pass recommendation. Congratulations on your first bill.
I wish you could find that song.
So before we gavel out, I was going to ask you all, Representative Longden had a couple bills, and this one was one that we have heard before, and it was about the workers on the railroad tracks and equipment and things like that. I really wanted to do it. So, like,